All right, so yeah, so you were gonna tell me about the mushroom experiences or experience. I don't know which, if all of them were profound or just that one like that you told me that you had a Joshua tree.
No, not all of them were profound. Well, I had because I was in Joshua Tree for the weekend, so the two of the mushroom trips happened that weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one later on, like down the road.
Oh,
The first one was super profound. That's not what like pulled me into like being agnostic, by the way. It wasn't this profound experience, but definitely helped.
oh no, yeah. No, well, I don't know which one it was exactly, but I remember now something else. But go ahead,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
talk about it.
Already doing like at first, like, because I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that've done shrooms, but that was my first time. So we went out in Joshua Tree. We're in the middle of the desert. Like, there's nobody around, just three of us in a tent. And so that was kind of cool already, even before we started doing that.
Hmm.
But as it kicked in, I remember like I was laying on the dirt, which is just kind of like sand almost, like
Yeah.
right, rocky. But it started moving in waves, so that's how it began.
Oh wow.
But later on, like, I'll skip past a lot of it because there's a lot in the
No,
story.
no, go
But
ahead, man. Go ahead.
oh, Uh, I do remember that's how it started. Like, remember I'd never done shrooms,
Yeah.
and the ground basically looked like water, like almost like water, like it was moving, and I was like laying in it, like dirty as fuck. I didn't care. It was just like I was like, wow, this is. I had the craziest feeling when I dug my hand into the dirt. It
Yeah.
literally felt like I like. I know this is gonna sound hippie or whatever the fuck you think. Can I cuss on this? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you've already been cut. It's all good.
I forget, dude. Like, because I
No,
just
no,
cuss
we're
in
good.
like
I think I
regular
cussed
life.
too. I think I ended up
Yeah.
cussing. No, but go ahead. Go ahead. Explain. Go ahead. Say it.
All right, so but I remember when I dug my like I'm tripping on shrooms. I dug my hand in underneath the dirt and stuff. It literally felt like I had some kind of like connection to nature all of a sudden.
Mm.
Like it like almost like I said, it's gonna sound hippie or whatever you think it sounds like, but it like almost to the point of like bringing like a happy like tear to my eye, like that I
Oh.
was touching the ground and the earth, and like it was crazy. It was like that's not even the most profound part of this experience. That's just how it began.
Oh wow.
And I just remember like being like, I don't know why I'm feeling so like wow right now just by touching the dirt. I know because from the outside you're high on shrooms,
Yeah.
but that feeling was incredible. Like feeling like I was touching nature again. Again, like I felt like I kind of like plugged back into it in a weird way, like that I hadn't in years because I live in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No.
from
No.
there, I started. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say, like, it doesn't sound weird to me because I'm someone that actually has hugged trees and felt, yeah, sober. I've done that sober,
Yeah.
and I felt, the first time, I don't know who I heard or what, just probably being around more like the native culture and everything. And one day I was just in nature, hugged the tree, and I probably felt like similar to what like you just I felt amazing, and I smiled, and I was like, what the hell? So that's what I'm just saying, like, just to let you know, probably nothing
Yeah.
you say is gonna sound weird to me. So I want you to go ahead and explain like with detail. So go ahead.
All right. I didn't. It just felt like emotional. That's all. Like it
Yeah.
was kind of like I was touching an old friend that I had in a really long time, uh,
Wow.
in the legal way, not the Me Too way. But
You're
I was
stupid.
touching Mother Nature that way.
Yeah.
uh, but later on, like, 'cause there's three of us, my cousin and my friend Amanda, but we were all kind of wandering the desert doing our own thing.
Mm.
And as I was wandering, I kept hearing like the sound of the dirt, the crunching sounds, like,
Yeah.
and it just kept. That's all you could hear because we're in the middle of the desert and it's fucking silent. So I just kept hearing that over and over and over and over, and I went into this trance, and everything turned white, like just
Wow.
went bright white. And then I just, my vision came back, and I was staring at this giant, like, not a mountain because we're in Joshua Tree, giant hill with giant rocks everywhere,
Mm.
and it just looked really pretty because the sun was like falling behind it, and then it was so fucking quiet, like you could hear a pin drop, like there's no wind or nothing, no cars were nothing, you couldn't hear shit. And then all of a sudden, like my brain, like I just started laughing and crying because like I felt this flood of like love, and like it was almost like I saw God. I don't even know how to explain it. It's
Wow.
too fucking hard to explain. Like but then like I felt like my ego was like starting to like just dissipate. Like everything that I'm egotistical about was starting to come to realization to me, like why I'm like always manic and like I'm always like on edge all the fucking time. And then I remember me saying to myself, "It's silence. Like, do you hear the silence?" And I was like, the noise is gone. Like all the noise in my head, the chatter that's constantly keeping me like like uh, it was just gone.
Wow.
And then I was like, dude, all I needed to hear was nothing at all. Like to just hear absolutely silence, and it just like all that constant chatter in my brain just for that moment, anyways, it came back, but it was gone. But it helped me realize like what it was. It was just a lot of noise that I was creating myself. So
Mm,
I create my own anxiety all the time,
wow.
and that's what it was trying to show. In my eyes, I think is what it was trying to show me that this is where this problem is coming from. Also, you got an ego the size of a fucking cantaloupe or whatever, and you got to deal with that too because it's like not helping. I don't feel like I finished that journey. Like they call it like an ego dissipating or something like that, ego dissolve, because I'm not mad at my cousin or anything, but like I was going through this whole experience, he kind of interrupted it to ask me a question,
Oh
and
wow.
so I never felt like I finished it, but it was oh man, I really wish I could explain this to people, but it's so hard to explain like how beautiful a moment that was. I
Mm,
mean, I was crying like first time in my life I was crying like tears of joy, like literally. Like I never understood that growing up. I was like, how the fuck can you be that happy? But I was never happy growing up. So that was the first time it happened to me. Like I could not stop laughing and crying. I kept saying to myself, it was just all it was just noise. It was just noise in my head. Like
wow.
that was bothering me. It's just noise. Because going in the desert where it was just silence, it gave me the opportunity to like really recognize that.
Wow.
I don't know how to explain it. It sounds kind of weird, I'm sure, to some people,
No,
but it's very hard.
it's,
If you've never done shrooms, it's hard to explain.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No, I get it, man. I know the silence you're talking about because I heard that once, and like you said, it was actually in the desert, but like close to San Diego. I remember the silence was so weird. The silence was so crazy. It actually um was weird, right? Like when you're not
yeah,
used to that, like it's just weird to hear things that are that quiet. But
I went to Death Valley, and it was even quieter than where I was at in Joshua Tree,
oh wow,
if that was even possible. But it was because like it was literally so quiet. Like that's I understood the meaning of what do you call it?
dead
Uh,
silence.
dead silence, like
Yeah,
our deafening silence,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it sounded like you're deaf, like you couldn't hear anything, but there just was nothing there to make noise other than you.
yeah.
Anyways,
No,
that's
no, no.
this has been a great sound podcast. We'll talk next about
Yeah, no.
about subwoofers and how they can improve your music.
No, it's no, that experience is because like it's funny because even this month I guess is what do they say, like mental awareness or something, or
Oh, is that this month?
mental health or something, mental
Oh,
health
okay, that's
awareness.
why
No, no,
that mental health award.
but you made me think about that, like about how, like, yeah, I guess if everyone did mushrooms they would probably um I think I seen a documentary about that, and they were even talking about how people that had PTSD and doing mushrooms would help them, like, oh, and not to say anything against people that are therapists or anything like that, but like how things that therapy couldn't even solve, like, doing mushrooms would, like how you had this crazy profound experience, like you said, that you hadn't felt since you were a kid, or
No, no, I had never felt like that
or
ever
never.
in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah.
No, I was my childhood sucked. It wasn't fun. I was rarely happy as a child, rarely happy as an adult. But it was just like I felt that like I'm so happy that I'm crying joy, and like I used to think that wasn't a real thing. Like I was like, who the fuck was ever that happy or joyful? I remember I used to think that when I was little, even as an adult. Well, I didn't think it was fake. I just thought it was kind of rare, I guess,
Yeah.
or I'd never felt that kind of joy until that
So
moment.
having
But
experience. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
oh,
No,
I
no,
do
go.
remember realizing at that moment everything that was giving me anxiety and freaking me out. I remember at that moment realizing that because I started laughing because I realized it wasn't important. Like it didn't matter in the grander scheme of life, or however you say that. But I just remember just repeating that to my like it doesn't matter. Like none of this stuff matters. Like
Yeah,
it really doesn't matter. Like that doesn't mean like I became nihilistic. I just meant like I started thinking like at the end of my life none of that stuff's gonna matter. Like I'm not gonna be thinking about it. It's gonna be completely out of my head. The only thing I hope to be thinking about is the good memories I created,
Yeah.
which my life has been more focused on that than money for the first time ever. Broke that cycle. I used to be like materialistic, like hardcore at a younger age. Like everything's about money. But I was conditioned to believe that, like most of us were.
And did that have to do with the change, or you were already changing even before that?
I was already changing before that because I was just realizing kind of how like.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I want to feel this way forever, forever.